All right, it's Wednesday, November 1st. This is an end of the day SPY recap, first day of the new month. And also, it was Federal Reserve Day. So we'll talk about how generally you want to kind of be out of the market in the afternoon on this type of day. But in terms of the day itself, we did end up with a 2-up continuation bar that, made a new high on the day from yesterday and held above the midpoint of the prior day. So the bias was to the upside all day. And we talked about that if we continue higher here after these three bars kind of broadened out above that bar, there was still kind of a move up to fill in this fair value gap between the low of this bar and the high of that bar. So we did have a little room to run, and if you kind of see where that level is on the 15-minute chart, which I'll get to in a second, that's kind of right up in here where our target was on any kind of an up opening. And what you ended up getting, in terms of just the actual price action. You had the pre-market range between the blue lines. You opened up on bar one, kind of holding. Bar two made a new high. There's your buy signal. We did have a target up here to the top of that fair value gap if price was going to lead us higher, and that's where it went. And then, it consolidated for the rest of the morning and after, into that Fed announcement and eventually moved to the, highs. You don't really know after that Fed announcement with all this volatility, is it going to go up there or is it going to come all the way down? So the only real trade, if you wanted to even trade on this day, was, kind of a morning trade. If you wanted to take it, just given price action. And once it signaled a buy signal, you knew you had a target right up here. And that would be a logical place within 45 minutes or so just to take a base hit and not really expect any strong move up until the Fed announcement and not expect a big reversal. And quite frankly, it might not even be a day you want to trade at all. And what's interesting is I actually traded the short side. If I look at Tesla here, I bought some puts and took my profits right into that blue line target down here. In other words, I shot some videos on it. I bought some 205 puts at 503. I scaled out at 6. I discussed that. I was actually trying to exit at 825. I just missed it then 8. Then I finally just exited at 750 on these options. So overall, that's a pretty nice gain on that trade. And again, it came right down to this blue line, which was a target. And it also represented on the daily chart, a move right to the midpoint of the prior day. So unless we broke through there, I knew this day wasn't confirmed down, even though it had a potential to be a failure day. And as it ended up, it came all the way back up. I didn't know that would happen either, but what I certainly, wanted to do is just kind of take my base hit gains on that morning move, knowing the Fed announcement and everything else was coming up. So that's all it was. But on the SPY today, it was exactly the opposite. If you wanted to do it, it was just maybe an hour trade to the upside, and that was really the best opportunity. All this other stuff was just hard to judge what was happening until the Fed announcement. So going forward, what's interesting is we have on the weekly chart an inside bar so far, and we're kind of at a point where this could be a resistance area. Midpoint of that selling tail. And when you're inside on a week, that's actually a good sell signal tomorrow. So there's an actionable signal if we can get a 2-down bar. Also, if we just go up early in the morning, maybe take out that high and then come back through the midway point of that bar. Given this is all just inside price action of the prior week, you can get, you can go to the highs and then go back to the lows and everything else. And maybe we tighten up and consolidate in here as the week ends. And then we have an inside bar going to next week. On the other hand, if we stay green, we might get a 2-up week. I don't think there's enough time to reach our target up here. So, we'll see what happens if that develops and we get a 2-up week. It would certainly mean we'd probably want to be probing higher into next week on some form before reversing, but we'll find out. So a lot, it depends on how this weekly chart ends, but it's certainly green to the upside. And if we look at the new month, this is the very first day of the month. We do have a good reference point now. We're inside on the prior month, but we have that open of today. And that kind of is the key. As long as we stay above that, we'll kind of stay green in the month and kind of see if we work up, maybe into that selling tail up here before meeting resistance. Or do we just kind of fail in here, immediately turn red and start trying to take out the lows of the prior month? So we'll find all that out. But for today, it was Fed Day, and like I said, just a brief morning opportunity was really the only thing, if you even wanted to trade on this day. And we'll just see tomorrow whether we get the reversal or whether maybe we continue up higher towards a potential 2-up weekly target that's now in play.